Hey guys, uh, welcome to this quick intro to SQL, where we'll be focusing on the first five basic topics you need to know as a data analyst. So in this video, we'll cover how to view all your data, select specific columns, filter with the where clause, sort your results, and also count records by groups. So we're using a fake data set for practice, and the database file is available in the description below as well. So you can follow along and practice on your own. So let's dive into it right now. Thank you. So these questions on the screen are the ones we'll be using to learn today. So the first thing we have here is, for instance, you as a data analyst, you have been tasked to select all the students in the table. So in my previous video, I explained how to navigate on DB SQLite. So this database structure is where you will see all the tables within your database, and the browse data is where you will be able to know the columns that are present under each table. So for this task, we're going to be using the student table today, and under the student table, we have the student ID, the name, the email, gender, and country. So, and under this execute SQL is where you'll be writing your query, okay? So the first question we have here is, how do I select all the students in the table? So maybe you want to select all the students in the table. So the first thing you have to write is the select clause, okay? Select. So select. So immediately you add an asterisk to your select clause. It's telling SQL that you want to extract all the information from that table. So select from. From is what you put. Okay, after select, then you add the table you want to pull your data from. That is students. So immediately you press the first three-letter words, it will come up with what is called IntelliSense. So it helps you to pick the table you want to use for your task. So right now we're using the student table, students, okay? And you can close with this. Then if you run this query right now, you see now we have all the information about our students from the database. So that is how to answer the first question. So I'll put Q1 over here. I'll put my comment syntax, don't forget question one, so that it can ignore whatever you have uh, after the comment. So let's go to the second question. That is question two. I will call it Q2. Q2. Okay. So question two right now is telling us, how can I get only student names and their countries? So in this case, I don't want to spool or extract all the information or all the columns from this table. This is the select clause. This is the from clause. This is the table we are pulling our data set from. Okay. So this time around, I want to select only few information from this table, not everything. So what we need to do is the first thing we're going to write again is the select clause. Select, okay, select what? So when you're writing SQL query, always ask yourself, speak to yourself like, select what? So what are you selecting right now? From the question we have here, we have uh, student names. We are selecting the names and their countries. Okay, so select. In this case, we will not put asterisk because we are not selecting all the information from that table, but just a few of them. So the first we are selecting right now is you can create a kind of space to differentiate your clause from your item. So select names, names. Okay, then comma, enter. And what? And countries, and countries, and their countries, okay? So we're selecting these two items from this table. So immediately you type select and the items you want to select. So you don't need to put a comma here because it's the last item we are selecting. We're only selecting two items. So if you are selecting three items, for instance, you're going to have comma. Let's say we are selecting email, for instance, right now. So because we are selecting email, we're adding email to our list. So you're going to put comma after this country. Then, but you don't put comma after this email. Okay. So just to let you know that you only put comma. You don't add comma to the last item you are selecting. So we are selecting just two items, name and country. So name and country, okay, and country. Then from where I from the next thing I'm going to write now is the from clause. So from I'm using this indent or space to differentiate our table names from our clauses. So from what? So from which table? We have a table we are pulling from, which is the student table, okay? From student table. So close with this, then click A, then you run. You see that? So right now, what we have right now is just the name of the students and their corresponding countries. You see that? Okay. That's how to answer question two. So the third question we have here is question three, Q, Q3. Okay. So the third question is, how do I find students from Nigeria only? So in this case, in the previous question, you see that we extracted our data set for the student names and their corresponding country. But in this case, um, we don't want to see all the countries for all the students, but just for a few of them. Like we want to filter what we need. So anytime you want to filter in SQL, you use what is called the where clause. So again, you start with your select clause, select, okay, you press enter, okay, space. Um, the question is, how do I find students from Nigeria only? So in this case, we want all the students, okay? Students, select all students, we put asterisk there, select all students, select from all students, okay, students, where we're going to introduce the where clause now because we don't want all the countries to appear, but we want where the country is Nigeria. So sorry, let me just use this to differentiate my table from my clauses. So where the country, okay, where the country, okay, is equals to Nigeria. So if you're writing a text in SQL, you need to use this inverted comma, okay, Nigeria, Nigeria, Nigeria. So close that. Then you can end it with this symbol, then you can run your query. You see what happened right now. You see that. So this query means that select star means select everything from where? From the student table. But when the country only is Nigeria. So if you see this information right now, it has extracted all the student information, okay? But in this case, only the students that are from Nigeria based on the where clause we added to our query. So the fourth question now, Q4, okay? So the first question right now is, how can I find students, excuse me, whose name is Joy? So in this case, you want to find a student that is bearing Joy, a student whose name is Joy. So in this case, we're going to write our select again. Select, okay, select from all the table from students, okay, have the table name, where we don't want all the students' name to appear, but just the student that is bearing Joy. So where the name, okay, is equals to joy. So joy, joy. Okay. We close with this column, then run your query and see what happened just now. You see, we don't have anyone bearing joy. So let's check our students table and see the names we have. We can use where the name is probably let's say Estabilo or something, Estabilo. So where the name is Estabilo is Estabilo. Okay, Estabilo. So we're changing that name to Estabilo because we don't have someone bearing joy within that table. So we have Estabilo, Estabilo. Okay. So if you run this query on it, excuse me, definitely miss Estabilo. Yeah, you see that. So select star means select all the information from which table, student table. But when the student name is what? Estabilo. So that is just for that student. So the last question I want us to treat is, how do I find all students not from Canada? So in this case, we want to see all the students within that table, but excluding the ones from Canada. Okay, that is Q5. Q5. So what I'm trying to teach you today is how to use your where clause to filter your to filter your data while doing your data analysis. So Q5. So we're going to write our select clause again. Select, okay, from all, select all from, select all, select from, okay, which table? Student table, students. Well, not all the students. Those ones, all the students minus the ones from Canada. So you're going to add the where clause. So the where clause is where, okay, country. The country we want to exclude is Canada. So you add the country. So country is not equals to. So this is what we use to denote not equals to or to exclude an item in DB SQLite. Space, Canada, Canada. Then given parameter, Canada. Then we close this. Then you can end it with the column. So we run this right now. You see, it has extracted all the information of all our students. You will not see Canada among this in this column. You see, Canada is not there because we already wrote a query to exclude student from Canada. So let's say we want to write another country. Let's say we want to exclude student from the UK, for instance. You see what happened just now. Student from the UK. I run that query again. So you will not see UK again on this list. So I hope you have learned how to use the where clause in SQL. So where clause is used to filter records based on certain criteria. So kindly subscribe to this video if you find it useful and interesting, and also like and share as well. Thanks for watching, and I really appreciate you. Bye.